Okay, now we'll move on to the congressional candidates. If I can have Steve Woodsmall, please.
Thank y'all for doing this. I'm Steve Woodsmall. I'm running for Congress because I'm as mad as heck, and I'm not going to take it anymore. I'm a retired Air Force officer, and thanks to the vets, thank you for your service, Vietnam veteran. How many vets in here? Bunch of vets. Thank you all for your service. One of the things we learn very early in the military is that if you're not part of the solution, you're part of the problem. And I signed up for this to be a part of the solution. We have a lot of problems. One of them is named Mark Meadows. It's time for him to go. We need leadership in D.C. Mark Meadows is a follower. He's a good follower, but he's following the wrong people. He's not following you. He's not following the people in the 11th District. If that's for me, I'm not here. So I want him on November the 6th to follow Paul Ryan out down the stairs of Congress and make room for me. That's what we're going for. Very quickly, I know 3 minutes, right? Gosh, that's just impossible. So this is really a job interview for us. Okay, so what you have to do, you have to make a decision, just like you're hiring somebody. You all are the hiring managers. So what do you look at when you hire somebody? You look at experience. You look at qualifications, you look at education, you look at the potential to succeed in that next position, right? And that's what you got to do. And success is defined in this particular job as getting rid of Mark Meadows in November. I'm the guy to do that. I've taken on much bigger people than him when I was in the military. I'm not afraid to stand toe-to-toe with him on the debate stage. We're going to call him out for every single thing he's done or not done for the people of this district. I want to represent you. And I'll tell you something else. One of the things you don't do in a job interview is ask somebody how long they've been here. I've been in North Carolina for 5 years. I've done a lot in the 5 years I've been here. Okay? I served all over the world to serve my country. I'm asking you to send me to Washington, D.C. to serve you. I'm a member of the Transylvania County Planning Board. I live in Brevard. I teach at Brevard College. I was third vice chair of the Transylvania County Democratic Party. I had to step down because we're in a primary. I've been on the board of directors of Brevard Little Theater. I've done a bunch of stuff in Brevard in the 5 years that I've been here. I want to go to D.C. and have a bigger impact for the people of Western North Carolina. I won't go in, I don't have time to go into all the issues. We have information back there. You can look us up at woodsmallforcongress2018.org. The one thing I will tell you is the number one issue that I'm concerned about is getting the money out of politics, because if we don't do that, we're not going to get very far down the road to fix these other issues. And I support House Joint Resolution 48, which is a proposed amendment to overturn Citizens United, because corporations are not people, and we need to get rid of dark money and big money and get rid of the big donors and stop having the worst government money can buy. Thank you. Okay, 1 minute. Well, I'll just tell you. Our campaign has been endorsed in the primary by Gail Mull, who's Mayor Pro Tem of Canton. Who else did we get, Ralph? Cecil Bothwell, former city council person in Asheville. Equality North Carolina has endorsed us because of our stance on LGBTQ issues. And people always ask me what that stance is, and it's very simple. Equal protection under the law for everybody, and that includes a woman's right to choose. And finally, the AFL-CIO has endorsed our campaign. And they understand that you don't necessarily have to be a working person to go to D.C. and articulate the issues of working people. They trust me to go. They know I'm the guy that can take care of the issues for them. The biggest labor union in the country wants me to go represent them. I want to go represent you. I'm asking for your support. I want to take Mark Meadows on May the 9th. It's on. We're going to lock in on that primary target, and we're going to go after him as hard as we can until November and get him out of there. I'm Steve Woodsmall. I appreciate your vote. Thank you all for being here. Thank you all for doing this.
Thank you. Can we have Phillip Price, please?
Thank you, and thank you all. My name is Phillip Price, and I'm running for the U.S. House of Representatives to serve you, the people of Western North Carolina, here in the 11th District. And with your help, I will repeal and replace Mark Meadows. I've been a resident of this district for 34 years, and it does matter how long a candidate's lived in the district because they know the people. Someone who comes in here from San Francisco probably couldn't represent Western North Carolina quite like somebody who's been here for 34 years. I've lived in 6 counties in this district, including Jackson and Macon County right here. I have been married faithfully to a Jackson County woman for over 21 years, and we've been raising 3 kids and with the help of the North Carolina public school system. My children have exceeded. My oldest son is a honor student, chemical engineer at NC State. My daughter is a junior at the North Carolina School of Science and Math, one of the top 25 highest schools in the country. And my 12-year-old is at school in a new STEM school in Marion. So we're very thankful for our children. Michelle and I have been building a small lumber recycling business for over 18 years, where we take down old barns and farmhouses and anything that has valuable old growth lumber in it, and we make furniture and flooring and paneling and really cool stuff out of old wood. So we know we've been recycling and doing our part to recycle and save the trees of this district for 20 years now. I've been on this campaign for over 13 months now, and I've put a lot of rubber on the roads of Western North Carolina, over 21,000 miles on my truck so far. I've been having listening sessions and listening to the people and what concerns the people of Western North Carolina. What are the issues at the table in your house, not what's going on in Washington, not what are the problems in Washington. And I've developed a platform that has 4 legs to it. Those 4 legs are expanding health care to everyone through a single-payer system. It'll create many, many jobs. It will be a boom to our economy right here in Western North Carolina. The second leg of my platform is expanding public education. We need to make sure our teachers are getting paid. We need to make sure that we're taking care of kids before kindergarten and all the way through a 2-year community school and tech school. That will produce jobs. For every dollar we spend on education, the taxpayers get back almost $7 in return. It's an investment in our future. We need to invest in green energies. The third leg is the environment. Our environment here in Western North Carolina is so important to us because tourism is the #1 industry in Western North Carolina, and it's because of our beautiful environment here. Mark Meadows wants to reclassify areas like the Blue Valley up in Macon, on the south end of this county, and so he can bring his donors in and cut down the trees and make a quick buck. We're not going to allow that to happen. We've got to take care of our environment and produce green energy jobs right here in Western North Carolina. The fourth leg is infrastructure. We know we've got to get our roads and bridges up to speed, but we need to make sure that we have access to high-speed broadband internet to everyone in rural Western North Carolina because it is the future of economic growth and the future of education and health care. So it's health care, it's education, it's the environment, and it's the infrastructure. That's hometown, local issues that I'm going to fight for you right here in Western North Carolina. My name is Phillip Price. It will be an honor to serve you on the floor of the House of Representatives, and you can be sure that when it's time for a vote to be cast, that I'll be thinking about you, the people in Macon County, people in Clay, Graham, Cherokee, Swain, Jackson, Haywood, Transylvania, Burke, Madison, Yancey, Mitchell, Caldwell, and McDowell counties. There are 16 counties in this district and 6,000 square miles, and I have been putting the rubber to the road. Thank you so much for your vote and your support.
All right, last but not least, Scott Donaldson.
My name is Scott Donaldson. I'm a urologist in Henderson County, chief of staff at the hospital. I've been there for 16 years. And I want to thank you for inviting us to your county meeting because some form I think us congressional candidates are kind of selling up the place. This is a beautiful conversation you have. I truly believe that local politics is the most powerful form of politics there is. In fact, about 10 years ago, I was an unaffiliated, and I just got a bird in my saddle that I wanted to run for county commissioner. And I got 3,007 signatures. So whoever that running, it's a difficult undertaking. And I really ran on a number of things, but one of them was soccer fields, that we needed proper soccer fields in Henderson County. Coolest thing happened, I was standing in the rain on the passing out on the polling. And this guy, I tell him I'm Scott Donaldson. This guy walks up, feels his chest, pulls out a piece of paper and said, yeah, my neighbor told me I ought to vote for you. And that was one of the neatest things, the power of local politics. And at the end of the day, we have soccer fields now in Henderson County. I didn't win that election, but we pushed the ball forward. I think in many ways, all of this politics pushes the ball forward. And I believe as we look at the national issues, I believe you cannot build in the negative. I believe that you cannot build anything by, you don't define yourself by what you're against. You define yourself by what you're for. So you paint a picture of where you think we ought to be, and you figure out ways to get there. The primary reason I'm running is because I am a physician. And in my office every day, I see people without access to health care. And I will tell you that when people do not have access to health care, whether they don't have health insurance, or if they have a $15,000 or $20,000 health care deductible that they must pay first, that is a perceived lack of access. And either way you define that, when there is no lack of access, people die. And that's just a fact. I've seen nurses refuse, retired or nurses who are no longer working with us, no longer have health insurance. One in particular, she waited till her breast cancer was almost coming through the skin because she knew that she did not have health insurance, and she did not want that bill placed on her. And she knew the story. She was an operating room nurse. I knew her. Had she called me, we would have put her in the process. But we have to make sure that every child born to this nation, to the last breath you breathe on this planet, that you have continuous health care coverage. When people say we have a broken health care system, I would tell you that assumes that we have a health care system. We don't have a health care system. We have a get what you can and hold on to it. And I further believe that we need sensible gun laws. We're not going to take anybody's guns. We want to make sure that we have holding periods and we close these loopholes. 90% of this nation wants that to be done. We should be able to get that done. And I believe we all agree that we should have better schools. If you talk to all of us amongst us, these congressional candidates running, and I am running as a Democrat, we all agree on these things. Now, it's not exactly the same, but we kind of rhyme. And I believe in medical marijuana. You guys are up against a crisis, I know, of the opioids. This is what I deal with in my hospital as chief of staff. And I'll tell you, we're making a difference in that. And I love the fact that you got this rehab and mental health institution because, if we all shake our family trees, something's going to fall out. And that's just the way it goes. And so we need to care for these people. We got sold a bill of goods to these opioids. I can tell you that as a physician. The physicians are going to have to lead the way out because in many ways I believe they got us here. Medical marijuana, while it's not the cure, I will tell you it's a great option. I can tell you right now it's being used by people like me who will tell folks, you don't need 2 pretzels, 1 pretzel will be fine. These opioids are a problem. Did you give me a red sign?
I'll give you a yellow.
Give me a yellow sign. My name is Scott Donaldson. I'm a Democrat. I'm running for Congress. I believe if we're going to make this nation run as efficiently as this wonderful community that built this beautiful library. This is beautiful. I'm jealous. I'm in Henderson County. Our library is nothing like this. We have to seize those things that are common to us, that we all agree on, the common good and the general welfare. I'm Scott Donaldson. I'll be happy to talk with you, but I think you do better having a county commissioner to debate. Thank you very much.
Any candidates that we have overlooked? So, I'm so sorry, but any other candidates? Go right ahead.
Hey there, I'm Clifton Ingram, and I'm running as the Libertarian against Mark Meadows. There won't be a primary, but thanks to the Democrats, if you like big government, you should vote for one of them. If you like fiscal conservancy, I would say vote Republican, but that's not necessarily the case. As Libertarians, we're known as fiscally conservatives, and we hate taxes. I mean, from our soul, it's like this gut feeling, and we love the free market. That's the distinguishing characteristics of libertarians. Now, we're a small party, but we are a nationally recognized party, and there's a big group of people that call themselves independent that are forced to vote for Republicans and Democrats all the time. Well, I'm the first Libertarian in 10 years now in District 11 running, so now you got an opportunity to vote for Libertarians. I suggest you go check out their platform. I know they get a bad name sometimes through the mass media and such, but we're anti-war, and I think we're the only party that's anti-war, and outwardly so. The war machine's costing us trillions of dollars, and it's a big business. And I watched 9/11. I watched it happen from my hotel concierge lounge. I was a software consultant for IBM at the time, and I flew into Newark, New Jersey the day before 9/11. So lucky to be alive. And I saw some things in that news broadcast when that Building 7 was falling. And you should look up architects and engineers for 9/11 truth. That's something you should look at. Another thing you should look at is, how our money is spent. Right now, you're giving these guys, these Republicans and Democrats, a blank check. You're saying, here, go spend our money. And then when you have a trifecta, you got the Senate and the House of Representatives and the President, all one party. They just go crazy spending. And Republicans, you're just as guilty as Democrats. I'm sorry. So I want to give the power back to the people. And I think in an information age, we should be able to choose where at least a percentage of that money is spent. And that would be an adequate check and balance. Right now, this blank check system, it isn't working. So if you vote for me, I'm going to try to make that happen if I can. Now, another thing we believe in is free trade. And we need to lessen regulations. We need to lessen tariffs. We need to lessen taxes. Another thing that we need to do is instigate some kind of term limits. These guys have been in there forever. Mark Meadows, we paid him $1 million now. Is he worth it? A lot of people really like Mark Meadows. I haven't met the guy personally. Democrats hate him, obviously. But I think less government, more freedom, and individual liberty. That's where my party stands for, and that's where I stand for. I think we need to let our nonviolent offenders out of jail. We're hogging up our court system. We put more people in jail per capita in this country than any other country in the world. And, if you believe in freedom, if you believe in liberty and individual freedom, then vote Libertarian, and let's get some real change happening. Another thing we do, like Mr. Donaldson said, we need to free our most versatile crop, and that's cannabis, so that our farmers have something to grow and we can make things out of. I'm a general contractor, North Carolina general contractor, and people in Asheville are building out of hempcrete. It's one of the most versatile crops known to man, and plywood is not rocket science. It's glue and pulp. If we can save some trees, then I'm all for it too. So let me read something. There's a book that's not in this library. In fact, it's not in any of the libraries, called The Emperor Wears No Clothes, and it was written by Jack Herrera. And it has a $100,000 guarantee that everything in it is true, including the 13 seconds in Congress where marijuana made blackies feel like whiteys. That's why it's been illegal for all this time. So prohibition does need to end. And this came from the book. It says, if all fossil fuels and their derivatives, as well as trees for paper and construction, were banned in order to save the planet, reverse greenhouse effect, and stop deforestation, then there's only one known annually renewable natural resource that is capable of providing the overall majority of the world's paper and textiles needs and the world's transportation, industrial, and home energy needs, while simultaneously reducing pollution, rebuilding the soil, and cleaning up the atmosphere all at the same time. And that is the substance, the same one that did it before cannabis, marijuana. Thanks. I'm running for Congress as the Libertarian Clifton Ingram. Thanks.